Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and welcome back to Lingo. I spent about an hour off camera reconsolidating my notes and trying to kind of rewrite my understanding of the game and pick at some bits that I didn't quite understand. One thing that happened relatively recently was there was this. There was a tile here that didn't have a description. And I figured out that from perpetual Istanbul was Constantinople, evolve over time is Istanbul. So perpetual meant constant. And so I realized there's no label on this box, but the label was on a different side of the box. And we have actually seen that type of thing like happen frequently. Excavate and exhume are both unearth, but you can imagine that excavate is the label on a different side of the box or the cube that this is describing the clue for this one, and exhume is describing the clue for this one. And the reason that those are relevant is I was over recently in here in these crazy 12s, and there were, through windows, boxes that did not have any labels. And so there's a pink box against a brown wall, but there's no label on the box. And it was maybe clued in because some of these boxes were here and some things were embedded in the wall, and I was thinking about it, and I thought about that, and I was like, what if the label is on the other side of the box, on the other side of the brown wall? And so I think that's what's happening here. I think there is a label for this pink box, but I can't see it. It's on the other side of the brown wall. And furthermore, this orange thing with 12 is a pyramid. And furthermore, if I return to entry, there's so many ways to go. The kitty picture, the Sphinx or whatever, did appear on this wall. So we were peering over at a pyramid. This is a purple pyramid that I can't get in yet because I can't figure out this clue. But we have been to another pyramid to get to the brown one. Let me look through my notes. Brown arch from high, letter wall. So I go through here. I go through the brown arch. The letter wall is here. Here is the other 12 thingy. If I step back, I'd never really looked at this structure. But if I get back into the open out here, this is a brown pyramid. So there are all these pyramids. And this one also has windows where we're looking through, purple wall, pink box. It doesn't have a label, but maybe the label is inside the purple pyramid, and we're going to see it from the other side. This one, notice tool, hammer and saw, these boxes are not embedded in the walls. They are physically completely inside this room that I can see into. And so the label couldn't be on the other side because I wouldn't be able to see it here. Also, these walls are brown, and so this is completely inside this pyramid, as opposed to this one where I'm seeing kind of between the brown pyramid and the purple pyramid or something, I'm imagining. So this insight, I'm calling it an insight. I'm not even sure if it's the right thing yet because I don't have a way to test it because I don't... here's cyan. If I can find the cyan pyramid. It's weird that it's like two different sides of cyan though, but I don't know. It could be like teleportation, non-Euclidean geometry. Yeah, I'm calling it an insight. I don't know if it's right yet. I don't have a way to test it because I haven't made it inside enough pyramids. But I know a large cyan pyramid exists. It has the number 2 on the front, implying I haven't even solved enough puzzles to try to open the door. The purple pyramid has the word deposit on the front, which I just don't know how to solve. And perhaps there are more pyramids that I haven't really noticed the shape of some of the large buildings. Oh, wait a minute. I am saying these words aloud, and I just had another potential insight. Let's go back to level 1. This will take a minute to load. Are there 12 pyramids because we saw the word 12? Or perhaps another try. purple pyramid, brown pyramid, orange pyramid, cyan pyramid. There are 4 pyramids in the world. There is a tree section. There is a giant white egg. There is a yellow tower that has no entrance. This room that brings you to level 2 in the first place is a description of the important features of the world that are probably the meta puzzle. There's the sun up in the ceiling, maybe, that are probably a meta puzzle about level 2. This only occurred to me just now. So I think there's actually just these 4 pyramids. And I've been inside 2 of them, orange and brown. If I can figure out deposit, I can get inside purple, and I need to solve more puzzles to get inside cyan. I have figured out the egg, if this is the egg. I think that's the only giant white structure I know of. The giant yellow tower has no entrance, and I think I have to solve something from the rooms there. There's a black Roman numeral 2, but I think that's just describing level 2. There's a black line on the floor that's... I'm not sure it's describing anything. The sun in the ceiling might be important. The green tree, which could also be interpreted as an arrow pointing upwards. It's also reminiscent of the painting that I painted. Yeah. So I think there are 4 pyramids. I think the pyramids are linked to one another. And I think I'm starting to have insights that are going to play into that. Okay. I guess since just talking through things on camera is useful, I am going to talk through what I've rewritten in my notes about how puzzles are structured. There are 3 different heights. Top height is about sounds. Middle height is about letters or language. Sometimes it was like English, Spanish. Or parts of speech. Sometimes it was like noun, verb, conjunction. The bottom is about definitions. So, you read a word and what is its meaning, and that's what it's about. And so, then we have colors. Let's start with white. White is the same. So, what is the same meaning as roast? If you roast something, you're browning the meat. What is the same meaning as earth, dirt? At the middle level, they don't even have puzzles at the middle level here, but it just means type the actual word. So back in level 1, you'd see 3 on the wall in a white box, and you would type the word THRE, and that was it. And on top, it is sounds like. So sounds like berry is bury. So that is white and sameness. Its complement, its opposite, many of the colors are paired, is black. Black is antonyms. Groom, its meaning, becomes bride. I guess that's more of a complement than an antonym. Listens and speaks are a little bit more antonym-like. Order and chaos are more antonym-like. At the middle level, spots become stops because we're at the language or letters level. And so antonym here means reversal. Let me actually write the word reversal next to black in my notes. The notes are now all typed up, by the way. There's no more post-its scattered across the desk because that was too disorganized. So now I've got a big text file. So black can also mean reversal. So in this case, reversal of the letters. And finally up top, rot. If you say the sound backwards, rot, tar, gives you that. Okay. That's white and black. Red and blue, addition and subtraction. If we add to the definition of beaks, if we imagine beaks and then add to it to become a whole bird, we get eagles. Letters, if we add to the letters old, we add an M, we get mold. Sounds, if we take the sound right and add another sound, a B sound to the front, we get bright, or gulls and eagles, or is a better example of the sounds, perhaps. Red is the opposite of blue, or the complement of blue. And so, ocean, just a small part of an ocean, or a smaller example of an ocean is a sea. Dismissing, take off some letters, we get missing. And beacon, take the sounds and subtract part of the sounds, get rid of the on, and you're left with beak. Okay. Yellow. Yellow apparently is paired with cyan in the colorful maze, because pink and lime are paired there as well, and they're definitely kind of complementary. Yellow is mixtures. We've seen it anagrams at the letter level. Vegetables turned into a salad at the definition level with yellow as one of the clues. But I can't get in yellow here to look at some examples. Purple seems to just be red plus blue. It's both addition and subtraction. So cyst, remove the C, add some other letters, amethyst. At the sound level, perjury, luxury, or luckiness becomes luxury. We take the luck and the jury, and we get luxury. And at the bottom, I guess we don't have definitional examples of purple in here. Brown is evolution over time. Almost all of these are definitional. And so a daughter can become a mother. A tree can become a log after it's cut down. At the language level, it means how language evolves over time. And so we'd seen things like thy becomes your, or thou becomes you, chum becomes friend, hail becomes high. And I don't think we've ever seen a brown at the sound level. Orange is swap from the letter domain to the number domain. And so there is a key that swaps letters to numbers. We've also seen... we saw orange on the bottom in the 12 pyramid with the sand and glass being combined into 2. But 2 maybe was... I have to think about that more. In any case, we've also been able to see when there was a blue box and an orange thing under it or whatever, it meant add 3 to each letter in the word in the alphabet, rot 3 instead of rot 13 or something. Pink, the exemplary. Pink is a smaller example of a category. So at the language level, we had English high as kind of the key thing over here. And so it's an example of a category. How do you say hi in Spanish? Hola. An example of a sound. An example of a sound a turkey makes is gobble. An example of a sound a cow makes is moo. And do we have examples at the bottom level? We don't in here. But quartz. An example of quartz might be milky quartz or smoky quartz. Or pink examples. The opposite of that was lime. We would have things like conjunction, and the answer would be but. And so it would be, or no, the other way around. The clue was but at the language level, and the answer was conjunction, because that is the category, the larger category that but is a part of as a part of speech. And so pink and lime are kind of opposite one another. Cyan seems to be infer from context / memory is how I've described it in my notes. So there was stuff like Hickory Dickory Dock and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, where you just already had some nearby clues and got it. And in this case, the context is go to the corresponding color room and get the clue from there. Cyan is also called mint. And so mint, there is no corresponding room, and so it just had dash. It's kind of empty, does not apply, or whatever. But orange groom we saw recently somewhere else, where all the rooms had high. That is some of the colors here, but there's still more colors. Gray, I've only seen a few examples of it. A nearby thing described by this context / location. What part am I? And so we had a room of a house that we were building, and so it would say in gray, room on the wall, and the answer was wall. There's been 1 or 2 other grays, and I need to make sure my understanding of gray is completely understood there. Lavender is housed in or is surrounded by. And so the canonical example at the definitional level was castle was the clue and moat was the solution. A castle is surrounded by a moat. And then finally tan or light brown. combines two or maybe combines n nearby things. So we had a pink box labeled element. The answer was fire. A brown box labeled boy. The answer was man. They were combined at the language level by combining those two words together into fireman. Or we just saw in the orange pyramid, sand and heat were combined to make glass on a box labeled with 2, perhaps because it's combining two things, or perhaps because we were in the orange pyramid and 2 is the number of word definitions or something that we're trying to combine, because orange is about changing between the normal contexts and numbers. And those are all of the colored boxes that I have seen thus far, I believe. And so that is my understanding of how this game works and how its clues work. Here's our current progress. We're down to 1 theme, 1 guest, 8 miscellaneous. This has said 15 like the entire time, it feels like. So maybe this has something to do with meta puzzles, or maybe 1 and 5 are 2 separate numbers here, and this isn't a 2-digit number. That actually makes more sense. So I don't even know what that's about. 672 is up here. Yeah. Okay. That was basically... I feel like I have a better understanding of the game. I haven't solved any more things, and I don't know how to solve any more things. But I just needed to put this portion of the video together because I feel like I'm starting to understand stuff. It might make sense for me to go back to level 1 again. I've spent a lot of time in level 2 over the last few days. And level 1, we did recently break open. Like, we got actually, let's do this right now. To get back to level 1, I go here. What I want to do, I have to-dos for level 1. Let me pull up my text file again. Oh man, that like really wigs out the game when it reloads the whole level. My to-dos for level 1. Jump out of the world is definitely something I want to do. So let me go do that. I have to get to the yellow place and I don't remember how to do it. I'll find you there. Oh, and okay, so I should mention there is a Discord for this game. I have joined the Discord because I figure at some point I'm going to have to ask for hints. In the Steam forums where I previously looked for hints, like there's only a handful of questions and answers there, and so there isn't much to search for. And it's kind of better to ask questions of individuals because then you can just ask them for a nudge in the right direction and there's no risk of you're searching for X but you accidentally find Y. And getting spoiled in different things. But I was also just kind of like giving some feedback to the developer about my experience thus far. And I talked about the fact that there's like all these 5s where you just like, you know, see the word 5 and type the word 5. And I said it reminded me in other video games of a treasure chest that you find at the end of a hallway or behind a waterfall that has a small amount of money in it. And it's not about the money. The money might be a small reward or whatever, but it's more about the payoff for having looked in a dusty corner, as well as when you return to it later, you'll see the empty treasure chest and realize you've already been here. And so I felt like these things were things that are just to help you realize that you've already explored this area. But there were a lot of them scattered all over. And I said, but I also understand it could be part of a larger meta puzzle that I have not yet discovered. And I got the impression from the response that was not so explicit that there is perhaps a larger meta puzzle associated with all of the number words that are just kind of spread out everywhere. Okay, here's the stairs upwards. I still don't really know how to get here. But in any case, there's the yellow room. Here's how we get upstairs. So I'm going to have to go evaluate all the numbers. I wonder if I can possibly come up with an entire topological world map of level 1 now that I can get up to the roof and like try to analyze it. Okay, in any case, I said I was going to jump out of the world. So there are multiple things I want to do from the roof, but one of them is to jump out of the world. So what happens if I do this? Whee! I don't think there is a way for me to tell. I don't think I'm going anywhere. I'm like pressing... Oh! Oh, I got an achievement. It's called Geronimo. Okay. Okay. That's fair. I got an achievement for that. Great. And then is there any chance that I could find my way to what I just did? Alright, smiley face painting in the eye is where the stairs are, but I'm still not sure exactly how to get there. So there was something else I wanted to do. Visit Clubs, Diamonds, Hearts, Spades. So I found Clubs, Diamonds, Hearts, Spades by peeking down into the world somewhere. And so I want to jump into that location because I haven't figured out how to get there not from visiting the top. But I don't know where it is. Oh, there's colors. So we've seen a number of like Rubik's Cubes that had different color patterns on them, but I've never been able to witness the top. This is me witnessing the top of it, and it does have specific colors on it. And so I wonder if those Rubik's Cubes are also going to be like part of some meta puzzle. Interesting. All right. Things to think about, perhaps. Okay, let me try to figure out where Clubs, Diamonds, Hearts, Spades is, and then we can jump down into it and see what other puzzles are there. It's a building with red lines on the ceiling, and it looks like there's a way to jump down in here. Can't tell what's in there, though. Might have to try jumping down there at some point. I still haven't found the place to jump into Clubs, Diamonds, Hearts, Spades yet. There's a weird place I could jump down here, too. Yeah, there's a few places that it might be interesting to choose to enter from the top to fall into the world, but I have a specific one that I'm trying to focus on right now. But yeah, there's a lot of holes, square holes in this region. I don't remember seeing this before. These look like some important symbols. It looks like an I, an S or a 5, an E, and then like a backwards 4 or I don't know what. Is this near what I'm looking for? That just looks like a place to fall in. I still haven't found... I've actually made a full circuit of the world, I thought. And I didn't see where I could look down into Clubs, Diamonds, Hearts, Spades, so I must have just missed it. It really is enormous. Aha! It's over here. Okay. So, I solved these without falling down. Let's actually fall down into this place and figure out how I was supposed to get here. So... Sure, I've got a west compass rose. There's a doorway here that's locked. Okay. So that's coming from the spade side. There's a locked door, so I presumably had to open that from somewhere else. And can I jump into the compass rose, and does it take me somewhere new? It does not. And so it was just here to tell me that west is going to be diamonds. And then I would just return the way I came. But I can't do that now, and now I think I am actually trapped, so that the only way I could go back is to return to entry. I want to jump down in one of those other holes I just saw. So yeah, over in this region, there's a lot of places where it looks like there's just like holes to fall down into that I don't know where they lead. Oh, and the answer is they lead nowhere. They're basically places to trap you, as far as I can tell. Okay, well, I learned that too. Okay, I need to take a break. I'll see you in a bit. So I'm back here, and I was trying to do some free association to try to figure out S, and how it might be S and O, and how they might be different. S and O, there's two different letters. Is surrounded by, or is housed in? They're surrounded by a giant black box. They're housed in a green field. They're surrounded by letters. Maybe I need something more general. It's a 6-letter word. X is surrounded by letters. A black box, a green field, a plane. O would be the same thing, which is kind of unfortunate, but is there any other way that I can do something like that? I was also thinking about S in the alphabet, like it's near R and T, and there's an R and a T next to the rightmost S or whatever. But even if I remove those letters, O, P, I, N, E, D would be like the last ones, and I've tried that. The other 6 of the 8 letters surrounding S. I also tried S from the solutions down there, like where S's appeared and like the letters that it was surrounded by there. S is housed in a field of letters, lavender on green, surrounded by a black box. X is housed in a vertical letter wall. S is surrounded by consonants and vowels. There are some vowels. It's not completely surrounded by vowels, but vowels are at least a 6-letter word. I'll try it on O as well. What else can I do to think about how this is surrounded or is housed? If I just look at what each S is surrounded by, there's like pond and tire or right or tier. Can I somehow combine those two words? Pond and tier or right or tire into something? What about the letter O? L-E-N-T, lent. S-A-I-D, said. They're surrounded by words. They're surrounded by... A pond is a body of water. A tire is a circular wheel. Lent is a time of year. Said... A dais, D-A-I-S, is another way to surround the bottom O, which is also a circular thing. Instead of lent, is there anything else that spells? I mean, I'm reaching. But circle is something that can surround a thing. Other than looking at the letter wall, is there anything else that is an S here? Like there's a little bit of a hedge maze, but there aren't letters down there. Like, could I be looking at the wrong thing? Or the letter S in here, was the letter S part of some other answer to one of these other clues? Doesn't seem like it. So yeah, once again, D. Open. We look on the thing. There's a D up top. Oh, there's a D up top. I saw the D on the bottom, and it's got O-P-E-N. I didn't notice the D on top. Okay, this is important, to review what you think you already know, because sometimes you don't know it. So there were 2 Ds, but I only used one of them. Okay, so what about A? Note. There's an A here. It is the only A. It's surrounded by N-O-T. Let's look at all of these now. N and Q. There's definitely only one Q. And it's surrounded by exit, E-X-I-T. N is surrounded by dice over here, but it's also, there's an H-O-A-S over here. So there's multiple N's as well. So how do I square this circle? And then G and L. There were 2 letters of those, and I had to borrow all the letters because they were on the edges. So recipe and terror came from there. But I didn't use the other N, and I didn't use the other D. And the other N and the other D are some of the things surrounding S. So if I just had P-O and R-I-T-E, what if I use that set of letters? It still feels kind of dumb, but I'm desperate. P-O-R-I-T-E, does that anagram? I don't think there's any letters that come from that, and also it occurs to me at some point I tried making all the 6-letter words that come from the 8 letters surrounding the 2 S's. So I don't think that's the right thing to do either. It frustrates me that I feel like I'm continuing to have insights, so I can't ask for a hint yet because there's still ways that I can push on this and possibly make progress, but I've also spent multiple hours on this puzzle, and I'm ready to be done with it. I'll just have to decide for myself what I want to do. All right, just continuing to brainstorm. It's a 5x5. If I were to draw a giant S, I think you can see my mouse cursor. Like this, it would be ERRTHB. I'm pretty sure THRERB. Yeah, there's no word that you could spell with that. Is there any other way? I guess there's other ways I could draw a giant S. Like I could start at the G and just go to the E. And so that would be GETSII. That doesn't sound good either. And then if I drew a tall, narrow one, it would be CHAICG. I don't think that's going to spell anything either. I'm really stretching here. Actually, the shape of the S, it is a 3x5. So yeah, the 3x5. Are there any other places that I could draw the 3x5 and touch 6 points and possibly spell a word? So HRRAGB, no. DETOPI. DETOPI. There might be an anagram in there. CHAICG, I just looked at. GDOSIP. This isn't surrounded by or is housed in, though. This is just me, what can I do with the letter S? So I'm not playing into what the puzzle wants me to do. Is housed in or is surrounded by? S is housed in or is surrounded by some set of letters that give me a word. I can't let go of this puzzle. I was just video editing this, and it occurs to me that S and O look like 5 and 0. I don't know that any of the other letters that I've been asked to look at necessarily look like numbers, and 5 and 0, like we were doing like horizontal rows and columns, but 5, 0, like there is no 0, like it would be like the first row and column of things down there. Recipe, terror, exit, dice, note, open. Open a note, dice, exit, terror, recipe. And I was also trying to decide, like, terror reminds me of danger. And there's something else that reminded me of something. Exits was already there. But yeah, like silence. 24 means second one down, fourth one across is the S. 52, fifth one down, second one across is an I. So 5, 0 or SO would be fifth one down and zeroth one, which is just black or something. And that's two different clues. It's not S and O. And the structured was just the first letters of all these things. The structured. 5 and O are numbers. Can I say that 5 is, it's not housed in a number, but if I type number here, oops, or letter, if I tried those, and I guess I'll do the same thing here. I did ask for the slightest hint on the Discord, and the answer I got is that I will probably be dissatisfied with the solution. And that was one of the things that caused me to think about, oh, maybe these are 5 and O. Oh, or numbers and letters. Also, when I was editing the video, when I was on the roof of level 1, I saw something that looked like I, S, E, and backwards 4, and I realized I was on the roof. If I was looking down from above, looking at the ceiling, it would have looked like 4, 3, 2, 1. That was blue on white. I haven't found that inside level 1 yet. So yeah, there's definitely more to explore. Taoist is like written right across here. Are there any words that are just like written right across here? Taoist is kind of a word. Hold on. I have no reason to believe that this would be, oops, the solution to either of these, but I'd never noticed that there was a word. I did notice big down here. Yeah, dissatisfied with the solution. Still don't know. Okay, I was just editing that 3-minute bit of video, and I think I got it. So, around the O, there's said, S-A-I-D. Around the S, there's pond, P-O-N-D. Ponder and unsaid. Unsaid kind of being the key one. Oh, really? I thought for sure that was going to be it. It was ponder, though. So it's not unsaid. So S-A-I-D. Is there anything else on the other O? L-E-N-T. Lent, knelt. Can I add 2 letters to that? So ponder. Dazzy, Sida. Ponder. Tell. Could it be like untold or something? I really liked unsaid. So ponder, I had to think about this one. Around the O's. Lent, said. I really liked unsaid. But I'm happy I got ponder. And tail. So take 4 of the letters, and then with ponder, there wasn't like an ER like anywhere else. There was an ER anywhere else. It was 2 of the other letters that were around it. Interesting. Okay, so with O then, if I had L-E-N-T, S-A-I-D, and I take 6 of those, L-E-N-T, S-A-I-D, and try to do some anagramming. Okay, with those 8 letters, there's actually a lot of words you can make. I went through an anagram solver thingy and looked at the 6-letter words. There's a number of them that seem plausible. There's the list of words. Detail. I'm looking at fine details of this puzzle. Island, because the letters are kind of like islands that are surrounded by other letters or something. Listed, because I'm putting together lists of letters. That one's kind of weak. Endlist is kind of like similarly in there. Listen sounds pretty good to me, and it's listen. Ponder and listen. And if I look at where the letters of listen were, the L and the N were there, and the E were there, and the T were there, and the I and the S were there. Okay, so it's L-I-S-T-E-N. Yeah, I don't like that. I was dissatisfied with these solutions. But pond becoming ponder. Yeah, list, it wasn't even like all together. Ponder and listen. And so ponder, listen, recipe, terror. Oh, and now I've unlocked another one. H. The something. H would be the N. Oh, there's a bunch of H's. There's 3 H's. E-N-D-S-T-E-I. Or possibly an H. The... Is there another H? There are 3 H's. And so these are like the surrounding letters. How many letters is it supposed to be? The plus 6 letters. And the is surrounding this H. Got it. And is surrounding this H. And this H is surrounded by HI and possibly an E. The high end. The and then is there another H? Is there another way to interpret H's surroundings? Do I need to reuse letters? And how would I describe? So something I've noticed with the puzzles, I noticed this after the worldly that we got recently, which is world was this, the globe. But oftentimes the blank is describing you having solved it. It's like some attribute about you that's related to the context of the puzzle. So the surrounding letters in a grid. Ponder, listen. The contains end and possibly HI. The hidden in the grid. There we go. It's the hidden. And so topmost H on the right, THE. Topmost H there is DEN. And so then I need an HID. And so I got an HI next to this H. And the other D... I'm not sure where the other D comes from. I mean, it's over here, but it's good enough. We had hide, and I got the hidden. Okay, so this is another puzzle solved. Great. Perhaps there's more I can go and find now, but I need another break.